som precis applåderar nu? Ut. Välkomna. Ni missade en väldigt bra förmiddag, men det finns mer här. Vi har pratat om hur det har gått framåt med SFI. Vi har haft en jurist, Viktor Bank, som har pratat om hur det är med asylpolitiken i Sverige. Och sen har vi pratat med Chris, bland annat om mänskliga rättigheter. Och nu ska vi vidare till den fantastiska människan som har sett till att den här konferensen blir av. Yevgeniya Averhed heter hon. Och hon är projektledare och vicedirektör för internationella avdelningen av Folkuniversitetet i Uppsala. Hon driver internationella projekt med inriktning på strategi, analys, akademisk forskning och utveckling av nya metoder samt strategi för integrering, inkludering och mänskliga rättigheter. Och hon, jag vet det för att jag har blivit bekant med henne i och med att jag har varit konferenser. Hon gör allt det här verkligen 100% med hjärta. Och det var någon som frågade, vad behöver världen? Fråga inte vad världen behöver, utan det världen behöver är människor med sjungande hjärtan. Och då kan vi säga att Yevgeniya är. Så en varm applåd för Yevgeniya.
Thank you, Nishti. And one of my favorite people are you, actually, because when I saw you first time as conferencier and I followed your career after, you're absolutely amazing. So you are keeping this conference really alive. So, and you see, you're very pedagogical. People really follow your instruction to applaud when they think something is worth applauding. Thank you. It means you listen to Nishti. So, my name is Jenny, Yevgeniya Jenny. Jenny is to make it easier in Sweden. When we speak about pronunciation of names and everything what we discuss, I have also this issue. Yevgeniya, all these many letters in my name. So, I'm thinking, before we start, you are after lunch now, or after fika now, a little bit relaxed. I want to do some exercise with you to warm up before I will discuss with you some issues about integration, and I will tell you about the work we do at Folkuniversitetet for integration. So I would like to ask you to stand up, all of you. Stand up, and while you are standing, put your feet together. Really, your feet needs to be closely together. Relax, let your hands hang down, relax your shoulders, and let your head also to hang down, and close your eyes. So really, no cheating, and you close your eyes until I tell you to open them. Nikos Pitsoulis is about you as well. Close your eyes. So, listen to the music. Listen to the music and feel how your body moves. Your body moves in order to keep the balance. Feel the balance. It is important to balance in order to be able to stay. Keep the balance to prevent your body from falling. Balance means movement, continuous, non-stop movement. Movement is a natural part of our lives. People move all the time. People move from city to city, from job to job, from war and violence. People move towards security and protection. People move so the earth can keep the balance. In 2015, many more refugees applied for asylum in European Union than the years before. Over 1,300,000 asylum applications, 300,000 asylum applications were submitted, which is more than double compared to the years before. The picture of crisis and overstrained reception systems started to dominate the media and political debate. But we kept moving. Many projects started, many good practices have been developed to improve the current situation of migration and integration in Sweden and Europe. Together, we keep moving. Together, we keep the balance. Now, you can open your eyes and we start. Thank you for being with me. together with me. And it's not only keeping the balance in this exercise, but thank you for keeping the balance in this project, Human Rights in Practice. I have people from 4 different countries, Portugal, UK, Greece, and Germany, and Sweden, who kept the balance to keep...
Peru.
And Peru. You see, world balance. All these amazing people who are here, they helped us to keep the balance during 2 years we worked with this project. And also my amazing team from Folkuniversitetet, who helped us to keep the balance to arrange this conference, which is, you know, it's a very stressful project to do a conference, but we are here. So thank you also, dear audience, for being here and with your presence helping to keep the balance. So, integration is a topic of today. Integration is something which we have been discussing now since 2015 very much. It's dominating now, it feels all the debate and in political sphere, in media, books are written. But what is integration and why are we speaking so much about this? Yeah, this horror picture, what already Chris mentioned and Victor mentioned, is drawn in media that the systems is overstrength and we need to do something in order to be able to keep the balance. We need to create the breathing space for our countries. Because we accepted 1.3 thousand asylum applications, which is much more than we are used to do. But who is this asylum seeker or refugee here, the picture in the middle? And how do we look at this person? Yeah, we can look at this person from different perspectives. We can look at this person as a burden for our society, a burden, a problem we need to solve. Or we can look at this person as asset to our society, as something positive, good. And always these two sides are fighting with each other, both in media and in our minds. So, if we speak about the burden, before I will tell you about solutions and how we came to that, I would like to show this picture to you and what arguments are there in order to support these two sides. If we speak about the red side, we speak about the initial investment. The societies, the public funds need to be made in order to accept the refugees in our society, in order to pay their daily allowance, food, housing, to support them with social orientation, language and other services. And according to Migration Board, now if we go to Sweden, according to Migration Board, their cost for reception of people from 2015 was 59 billion Swedish crowns that year. 59 billion was invested in order to approach all the asylum applications, in order to give answers to people. It's also daily costs for refugees, food and housing, subsistence are included there, and also salaries for Migration Board staff and lawyers who are working with these applications. So, in Europe, initial monthly cost for receiving refugees varies very much, depending on how much service are we willing to provide, and Victor discussed this already. But it's something about 8,000 to 12,000 euro per person, per refugee, per year, according to International Monetary Fund. But now, since 2015, these costs are much lower, because now we are going with quick tracks when we are proceeding with asylum applications during 2 weeks to 2 months. Of course, you don't need to wait than 1 year, and it's much cheaper. So it's one argument that it's very, very stressing for our systems in Europe. Another argument is that people who are coming here, they're taking our jobs, and you hear this also very often, and I don't need to comment it more. And the third argument is that it's many people who come with a different educational background and working experience, maybe too low many times, so they are not able to adapt to our system, to our labor market level, so and they stay trapped in the social welfare often. So this is also the argument which is heard very much often in media. So and I would like now to take you on the trip to flip this coin. We flip it to another side and we look at these arguments from the other perspective together. I'm reading here because numbers, I'm not good with numbers and I need to see it. So if we go to the other side to contra-arguments, which are supporting more, receiving more refugees, more asylum seekers in our countries. First of all, we can almost immediately see return on investment of accepting more people. And when I speak about return on investment, I do not speak about humanitarian task which we need to do because we signed the Refugee Convention, international law, and we must do it actually according to the law. But I speak actually about actual economic benefits to the society who are receiving refugees. First of all, the more money you put in the reception, the more money are coming back as fiscal stimulus to the local communities, because where do refugees spend this money they get as daily allowance? They buy local services, local goods, so of course the communities grow because this money is circulating in the system. It's not like they're throwing the money to the sea and we never see them. So they are going around in our society, yeah? First of all. Second of all, work pays. As soon as a refugee gets a job, they start to pay taxes. And where do these taxes go? Yeah, they go to our social welfare systems and help us to keep high health care services, school services, good roads, and everything what we want to keep in Sweden and in other European countries. According to this report which I referred to, International Monetary Fund, the additional spending on refugee boosted already European Union GDP in 2017, this year, by 0.13%. Okay, it's numbers, maybe it's so difficult to visualize it, but GDP is boosted. We are not going down, we are not getting poorer by accepting more people, even if it's about 1,300,000 people. And now when we go to shortage that refugees are taking our jobs, and these are shortages on the labor market already, and if more people come, how will we deal with this? This is a myth. There is no stable labor market where all places are taking and one in, one out. This is a very flexible phenomenon, and refugees come, they are taking jobs, creating more jobs. Secondly, what is very important is that to remember that refugees, and now we have people who are working with me in another project where we're trying to open the labor market to refugees. And we know very well that at the beginning of their stay in the new countries, refugees are taking whatever jobs which are provided to them. So these so-called D jobs, which are dirty, dull, relatively dangerous, and difficult, these jobs are taken by refugees. So they do not come and push the locals out of the labor market. They actually come and complement with their workforce, with their qualification, the places on the labor market which are empty. So this is also the myth which is very important to break and to think about how it works. Then also we speak about low-skilled refugees, that people coming with totally different norms and low skills, how we will integrate, and now this phrase which I really don't like, we will integrate them into our labor market. Yeah, from Syria 2015, 37% who came to Sweden, people came with university degree or college degree. So these are doctors, nurses, software technicians, which are needed so much in our labor market. We really have a shortage of nurses in this country. And here we have ready nurses. Just give them Swedish, what Susanna presented so well. Give them right Swedish quickly, and then they will work and pay back to the society really quickly this first reception money which we pay for the SFE, for their social orientation courses. So these are myths. These are myths which we work with every day, but unfortunately far right and all the wind of change now which is in Europe and the world about blaming the poor, blaming the refugee, unfortunately it's too big to break. But it's really important to speak about it, exactly what Chris said before me. So, the conferences, when you hear so much information, you will probably forget 99% because it's really intensive. But I want you really to remember this picture. It's very important. It's a research which was done in all European countries by International Monetary Fund. When we invest €1 in refugee, in welcoming refugee, this first period of first year, €2 we get back in economic benefits. So it's not only about humanitarian wish and to show our big heart to the world. It's very important, but we are also benefiting from this. And now, what is integration? Now I think I convinced you that integration is good, that taking more people to our society is really, really good, in all different perspectives and aspects. But what is integration? Integration is a very famous political concept which is very important for international law, international refugee law, because we have, according to international refugee law, we have 3 durable solutions for refugees. First is repatriation, when we are sending people back to their country of origin. Second is resettlement, when we send people from refugee camps, for example, to Sweden, quota refugees. And third solution is integration. The first 2 solutions are very simple to understand, but what is integration? My question to you, dear audience, is it enough to get the job to be integrated in the society? No. No. When we speak about labor market integration, probably yes. But integration is much bigger than that. Integration is social integration, when I get friends in the new society, when I get network, when I understand how the society works, and when I understand what are my rights in this society, in practice, how I can exercise those rights, who are responsible in this society for those rights, and also what are my obligations. If I start to make these connections and I know where to turn if I need, where to turn to, it means that I am socially also integrated. So actually in the academia when we speak about the broader picture, about this more human way of looking at integration, we call it inclusion. You've heard that concept, inclusion. It's much more common when we speak that we integrate with heart. So actually in our project, Human Rights in Practice, we speak on integration only when we need to reach politicians or bureaucrats and we need to present the project, because this is language which is clearly understood by everyone, that we integrate someone to something. But actually what we do in reality, we work with inclusion because we want to include the people. The big difference between integration and inclusion is on this whiteboard. You see that, of course, exclusion and segregation are worst because we keep this different identity from our green identity outside somehow. But integration is not much better in this meaning, because we are expecting that people are coming, we speak very much about Swedish values or German values or Dutch values, they're accepting the values, they are entering our society on our terms, so it's a one-way communication to them. They are adapting, then they become one of the green dots. But when we speak about inclusion, we speak about two-way communication. We respect the person on the other hand, we listen to this person. So keep your Ukrainian identity, I'm Ukrainian, I will never get rid of this a little bit more emotion, the Swedish identity side, it's always in me. So keep it, but there are some codes in the society you need to break and to enter on your terms. So inclusion is what we do. And now I will show you some slides on exactly what we do in practice to contribute to inclusion. Of course, these are small drops in a big ocean of problems, and political climate is changing, but actually we are contributing to a better future, I think, by a project like this. What we do is this. Today, in this room, we have amazing partners from 5 countries who have been together creating an innovative solution in order to promote active inclusion, active on the terms of the person who are coming to our country, and also responsible integration, not passive when you are accepting, and if you are not, okay, not integrated, bad for you, but we are really trying to promote it, to work for these values. So these are the partners who are present here, and each partner who are working with from different countries, they have their networks of different organizations which are part of the project. So it's a huge project influencing many people. And I will show you later a little bit more numbers. So concretely, what we do? We created 2 very good tools which are aimed to be a part of Swedish for immigrants or other language training courses in other countries, what Susanna presented, or social orientation course. So these 2 courses, Swedish for immigrants in Sweden or in other countries, other languages, and social orientation course when you describe the society at the beginning of the integration process. These are very, very important step, because the better and quicker you understand the society, the quicker you speak the language, the more chances that you enter and you are included earlier. So they decrease the cost for the society, but it also working with dignity, with people whom we are accepting and we are promising to work with their human rights here in our societies. So the first tool you can see here, and it's also here, it's actually a game. It's a game in human rights in practice. So the game it's a board game with 70 questions covering 7 areas of human rights which are very important to know directly from the beginning when you enter the new society, like health, education, work, childcare, and other rights. So, and each question is very practical, and the pedagogics behind it is to take this card. It's a group of, we can say it's a group of 15 people playing in social orientation, or Swedish for immigrant, or Portuguese for immigrant. You take this card of 15, you throw a dice, you get a number, you take your card, and what you need to do with this card, you need to go and bring the answer yourself. You are not served information by the teacher who stands here and says that in Sweden we have a king and a queen, we have a monarchy, and we respect human rights very much, and it's a democracy, and we don't beat our wives here in this country. No, it's very good to know, but this way of talking about values, about norms and system, how much does stay here, and how much do people actually understand of what we are talking? And also, come on, show some respect. It's not like it's very common to beat the wives in Ukraine. It's also prohibited by law. So it's not like something totally new for me as Ukrainian in Sweden that you are not supposed to do it. So you take this card, and the questions are very practical. How much does it cost to register, for example, in the queue for getting an apartment in Uppsala? How much does the primary care cost? The kindergarten, the school? How can you enter the work quicker? How can you validate your knowledge and skills? Where can you get this information? If you have a toothache, how much does it cost? Where do you turn to? And if your child is sick and you need to miss your working day, where do you report it? Do you get paid for this day or not? So all these practicalities, who are very natural for people born in this country, it's something which is very, very new for the people coming. But it's their human right to know in practice, if my child is sick, where do I report it? How much do I get paid for this day? And what do I do then? If my child is sick for 2 weeks, will I be fired from my work? Or what is my right and whom do I turn to? So very concrete and practical questions, 70 questions. And The other purpose of this concept is not only to get the practical questions to practical answers and by this learning your human rights in practice. It's also actually, you put the responsibility on the shoulder of the individual. The individual goes, it's active adult people who can go and bring the information, who can come back and present it in the classroom. By this, they also create the network in the new country because they have visited social welfare office, they have visited public employment service, municipal services for adult education, SFE. So they have visited all the services through the game. They created their contacts and now they know where to go and what advice to give to their neighbors and other newcomers. So actually it serves another purpose. It's to create this network. And purpose number 3, which is very important, is not to forget that it's so much challenging at the beginning in the new country to start your new life. When you're adult, you already had a life, education and everything in your country. And you're coming to something new, and you're sitting on the school bank again, and you're learning Swedish from the beginning. So sometimes the motivation of people and empowerment can go really, really down. And if you are in isolation for too long, it can even break. And we see these examples as well. So it's very important to give the power to the individual for their own lives, for their own information, to keep the empowerment up. It's very important to feel, I do this, I have contacted now 10 authorities, I know where to go, I can give advice to my children, and not my children will give advice to me, because they go through all these questions in school and I don't know, and I'm dependent on my child. I am as an adult, I can take care of this. It's very important to keep this pride and dignity. And we think that in practice, you can do it through giving the task to individual himself or herself. So, and after this game is played around 1 to 2 months, there's a group of people playing, and we advise 10 to 15 people, so you can have very good discussions, because when everyone else brings back their answers, they start discussion in the classroom. And also what is very important, that it's so much knowledge in the classroom, because someone has already contacted social welfare and can bring their knowledge. So you start so-called focus groups, when people share with each other and discuss. So through this, you have this common knowledge, aggregated knowledge of all these 15 people, and you as a teacher, as a trainer. So by this, we are turning the concept of social orientation from a lecture, scenery, to active participation, to active, responsible participation of the newly arrived in their own integration and inclusion process. Then this project, the conference we have for the project Human Rights in Practice for Language Training. In this project we developed also a language book, which I say proudly not worse than Cambridge or Oxford language books, because it's really, really good. And we have Dimitra here, organization who developed the design. It's really colorful and professional language training material. But the most important, except of beauty, despite of beauty, also what is very important here, that this language training material is also about human rights in practice. Because it's also 7 chapters connecting to 7 fields of the game. And each chapter is a language training material which also answers all these questions about public employment services, about municipal services, about healthcare, education, and so on. So through the exercises, participants are also getting answers to some very important questions. So as we call it, contextual learning, contextual language learning. So apart from the language, you get also information about the society around you. You want to applaud, Rita? You can do it, it's okay. Yeah, because I saw Rita was doing like this, and I thought, okay, do you want to upload? It's okay for me. So these are the books which are available: English, Swedish, Portuguese, Greek, German, and that's all. Yeah, I said now all the countries. So you can play both. We have developed like this. This game is for social orientation courses, which can be run both by NGOs and municipal social orientation. And actually we are cooperating with a wonderful project manager, Johanna, sitting here in social orientation in Uppsala municipality, who is now integrating this concept into municipal 60 hours obligatory training to the newly arrived. So thank you, Johanna, for trusting me. And the book is for Swedish for immigrants and other languages in other countries. And we have our trainer Maria sitting there, also Uppsala municipality. Applause for Maria. Maria will tell more than after the lunch with other language trainers about how they work with the material. But these books are complementary to the game, or they can be run separately. The concept can be, first you run exercises from the book so participants get necessary vocabulary in order to do the training, or they can be run separately, so simply as a language training course. And I will now actually skip. I will show that we are working long term. We are not working like we are developing these projects and now we're putting it on the shelf and that's it. It's a long-term strategy when we develop the game, first for NGOs, then we introduce the game in municipal training for social orientation, then we developed a language book which is complementing the social orientation, so we give human rights information through language training. And now the next step will be to develop an application in telephone, so we can spread the word. And I'm looking at Nikos, because we have discussed this. We will do it together with Dimitra. So we will spread the word in an easy way to more people, because this language training you need a teacher who keeps, who holds. But app will be something which all refugees, all asylum seekers can easily access and do in order to enter our society. And all this I will actually skip. I will only show you the results, that it's an ongoing process, and this game we have been trained in Sweden, hundreds of coaches and all over Sweden who are using the games in municipal training, NGOs, liberal adult education associations. So it's really a game which is well known, and now hopefully the material will be also accepted by all SFE who are interested to work with a human rights perspective. And my friends, Nelson Mandela said, there is no way to freedom because freedom is the way. What we say in our project, there is no way to inclusion. Inclusion is the way. So as Nishti said, let us work for it every day and do what we can do from our perspective and positions to make this process happen. Thank you.
Ja, det är så här att vi började ju lite senare och därför har vi dragit ut tiden. Vill ni höra min lite originalsummering eller berättelse som jag inte hade tänkt? Ja. Eller vill ni ha den korta versionen? De som vill ha den lite originalversionen, applådera nu. De som vill gärna ut och bara avsluta, applådera nu. Fast vi ska orka. Kommer ni ihåg, ni som kom sent, ni kanske inte vet om det, jag berättade lite om mig själv också, min bakgrund. För det är väldigt viktigt, för att, vad var det du hette? Rami. Du kom fram till mig och sa att du har bott här i 3 år knappt. Och idag så jobbar du som SFI-lärare, du kommer från Syrien. En varm applåd. Du var lärare i ditt eget hemland, precis som mina föräldrar.
Ja, arabiska lärare.
Arabiska lärare.
Och här svenska lärare.
Och här är svenska lärare. Och du bara, och du ser så stolt ut. Kan inte du komma upp så alla ser hur du ser ut? Han var inte inplanerad. Det finns en SFI-klass där. Undervisar du dem?
Ja. Hej.
Hej, du undervisar inte dem. Gör du det?
Ja, nej.
Nej, du gör inte det. När du är andra klasser? Ja. Okej. Men jag ville bara...
Jag har ansvar i grupp A. Och de heter speciellt i sin skola.
Ja.
Och de har svårigheter för skrivning.
Förlåt. Så.
Hej.
Och sen är den avstängd. Såklart. Så.
Jag heter Rami, är från Syrien. 3 år sedan här i Sverige. Jag har bott i närheten i Södertälje 3 år. Nej, 3 månader.
3 månader, det är lugnt. Ja.
Sen flyttade jag till Karlaby, jättefin by som ni känner. Jag bjuder alla att besöka oss där.
Är du säker att byn vill att du bjuder alla? Kanske får panik. Ja.
Jag jobbar i kundaskola, vuxenutbildning. Jag har ansvar i grupp A. De är jättespeciellt. De kommer från arabiska länder som inte fått chans att studera i skolor. Och nu vi lär de här personerna arabiska och svenska. Och tack till Sverige att lära människor deras hemland, språk och Sveriges språk.
Tack snälla.
Wow!
Jag känner inte Rami. Och vi råkade träffas här. Och jag fick veta om hans historia genom att jag berättade om min historia. Var jag kommer ifrån, med mina föräldrar var. På det sättet blev det ett möte. Därför är de här mötena väldigt viktiga. Därför är det här seminariet viktigt. Som Jenny sa, det är liksom human rights i praktiken. Och vi får inte glömma att det här är också en del av det. Mötena. Vi kanske inte har svar idag på alla era frågor. Vi kanske inte har lösningar på allt. Men vi har väckt tankar. Vi har väckt funderingar. Kommer du ihåg när jag berättade om att jag skulle öppna ett barnhem i början när jag började? Jag drömde om det, men då sa min lärare att jag skulle bli skådespelerska. Kommer ni ihåg det? Jag har öppnat en stiftelse som heter Mala Stärk, som ska hjälpa barn i behov av hjälp. Och tanken var att ha ett barnhem. Men det blev så komplicerat när jag skulle ha det i Kurdistan, där jag är född. Med juridiska, statliga, som ni vet hur det fungerar där nu. Så vände vi på det så att vi hjälper barn i behov av hjälp här i Sverige till att börja med. Och några i utlandet. Vi behöver inte ha just ett barnhem om inte behovet är det. Och jag är festivalchef för något som heter Internationella komedifilmfestivalen. Och då tar vi hit komedier från hela världen. Vad skrattar man åt till exempel i Afghanistan, Kurdistan, Turkiet, Somalia, Latinamerika, i Sverige? Vad är roligt? För vi tror att vi kan lära känna varandra mycket bättre genom humor. Det avväpnar. Så det jag vill säga är att man drömmer, man har hopp, man kommer till ett nytt land. Och jag vill säga att det här landet, Sverige, är möjligheternas land. Vi har ett gott exempel på Rami, som jag tidigare sa, nyckeln till framgång i språket. Att lära sig det, komma in i systemet, allt är möjligt. Men man behöver hjälp på traven. Så Viktor sa tidigare att det kom en hel del människor, det kom med flyktingvågen, det han skrev i sin bok. Idag bor det 35 000 afghanska ensamkommande barn. Och då tänkte jag så här som min lärare sa. Jag behöver inte ha barnhemmet, jag kan förändra samhället. Jag behöver inte vara läkare eller advokat. Jag kan göra saker hela tiden, förändra genom det jag är bra på, kultur. Så genom festivalen så tänkte jag så här, en man som heter Ove, hur många har sett den? Ja, många. Så tänkte jag att det är många som inte har sett den, men den här Ove pratas hela tiden om. Varför inte översätta och göra en subtitle på Dari och bjuda in alla ensamkommande flyktingbarn från Afghanistan så att de förstår och hänger med. Det är inte bara att man går i SFI-klass och man är på ett HVB, utan man ska förstå koder, man ska förstå vad svenskarna skrattar åt, vad är roligt här. Så vi gjorde en subtitling, översättning, så att de kunde förstå det. Och så frågade jag några av barnen, en av dem Hussein, och frågade jag, vad tyckte du om själva filmen? För de fick ju träffa Bahar Par som spelar huvudrollen. Och då sa han, jag älskade Ove, för han är lika ensam som jag. Han kände igen sig i en vuxen svensk man. Istället för Bahar Pars roll som bor i en svensk segregerat område. Och det här gjorde så att jag tänkte, okej, han har någonting som han identifierar sig med där. Han har förstått nu varför svenskarna har Oscar-nominerat Ove. Men slutar det där? Nej, det gör det inte. Vad kan vi göra mer? Ja, men vi bjuder in Sveriges folkkäraste artist Lisa Nilsson och sen så Ramina Al-Fakir Bergman. De skrev en specialspringare, skriver en låt. Jag har vandrat över bergen för att uppmärksamma dessa barns situation. Så vi bjöd in de som sjöng på premiären och ett gäng ensamkommande afghanska barn som hade sina historier berättade och de sjöng med i en kör. Och det var ett fantastiskt möte som ledde till att en av dem som sjöng med, Lisa och Amina, hade precis fått tid hos Migrationsverket och behövde intyg om att han jobbar, att han kan vara hos oss. Så Mala Stark, som jag startade stiftelsen, bestämde jag mig för att ge ett stipendium till Vi står inte ut den kvällen och den galan för deras arbete med ensamkommande barn. Och då säger jag igen, du, ni alla, vi kan förändra. Om en månad ska GAP få ett stipendium genom mitt stiftelse som jobbar för hedersrelaterad ungdomar som lever i hedersrelaterat våld. Och nästa gång så är det Help Kurdistan och nästa gång kanske det är ett stipendium till någon som är nyanländ. Så vi kan alla förändra, vi kan alla göra något. När jag var liten så såg jag också gamla svenska filmer där jag såg Sveriges Charlie Chaplin på TV. Han heter Nils Poppe, hur många känner till honom? Och när jag såg honom på TV så tyckte jag det var så fantastiskt de där gamla filmerna. För att ni kommer också se på svensk TV där man känner igen sig i vissa saker. Så var jag helt fastkrissad, jag var 7 år gammal och jag såg kvinnor i huckle och mjölk i mjölkflaskor precis som hemma i Kurdistan där jag kom ifrån. Och jag var 7 år. Och jag tittade på dem och så kom pappa förbi och så sa Nils Poppe i någon sketch, han sa så här: "Tjenare konduktör, landsfiskalen är på ingång, vet jag." Och så kom pappa förbi och han bara: "Stäng av, vad är det här?" Jag bara: "Nej pappa, stäng inte av, landsfiskalen är på ingång, vet jag." Så jag var helt fascinerad av de här svenska filmerna och försökte förstå dem 7 år gammal. Så det här intresset väckte mer och mer. Så jag såg intervjuer med Nils Poppe där man frågade honom: "Hörru Nils, hur kommer det sig att du får folk att skratta och gråta kväll efter kväll? Hur länge tänker du egentligen hålla på så här?" Då svarar han: "Så länge Gud vill och rumpan håller." Och jag bara wow, jag älskar den repliken. Så därför frågar jag er idag: hur länge tänker ni kämpa för och jobba för alla människors rättigheter? Och då svarar ni kanske: "Så länge Gud vill och rumpan håller." Ska vi resa oss upp och göra det? Innan vi avslutar det här fantastiska seminariet vill jag säga till Rami och till er andra, oavsett var vi kommer ifrån: vi har någon gång alla varit främlingar någonstans, någon gång och i en situation. Huvudsak att vi trivs och ser varandra med nya ögon. Och fortsätter jobba för mänskliga rättigheter. Hur ofta ska ni säga hej till er granne och försöka fråga om de behöver hjälp? Så Så länge Gud vill och rumpan... Gud, alltså kom igen, vi har övat hela dagen och vi är inte entusiastiska. Alltså på att ni måste göra det själva. Okej, jag tar någonting nytt då. Hur ofta ska ni tänka på att ni måste hjälpa era medmänniskor? Så länge Gud vill och rumpan håller. Jag ser inte armar på Nikos där. Grekland, please. Action, por favor. Hur ofta ska ni tänka på att jag kan göra förändringar för en bättre värld? Så länge Gud vill och rumpan håller. Hur ofta ska ni gå på och delta i seminarier för att det ska väcka tankar och nya frågor? Så länge Gud vill och rumpan håller. Hur länge tycker ni vi ska hålla på innan lunch? Tack! Det var så fantastiskt publik.
Och vi ska tacka fantastiska Nishtia. Så du är min favoritkvinna, måste jag säga. Du är helt underbar. Tack för värme och för alla dina visa och fina ord. Du är underbar. Vi fortsätter kämpa på tillsammans. Och det är en liten jordblomma till dig. Så du tänker på oss. Tack snälla.
Tack. Jag vill lämna vidare det här till min kurdiska vän som inte fick ens en blomma när hon fick uppehållstillstånd. Kom upp hit. Kan vi applådera? Okej. Vad var det du hette? Rojan har precis fått tillstånd att bo i Sverige. Så grattis! Prata med Rojan sen. Hej! Tillbaka klockan 1.
Så. Nishti, då gör vi så att du får min blomma istället.
Det är inte roligt.
Vi ska sluta ge bort mina blommor. Okej folk, vi träffas här efter lunch klockan 1. Så vi har 45 minuter på oss. Men vi får sen väldigt trevliga föreläsningar efter. Så full på energi och vi ses om 40 minuter. Lunchen är det där nere eller här uppe? Här uppe, nu har vi inte koll, men antingen det är här nere eller här uppe, eller så går vi ner tillsammans till matsalen om det är ingenting som är serverat här. Får vi upptäcka tillsammans.